Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the March 2nd meeting of Michigan City Port Authority.
Yeah, in the office.
Okay, we all here now? All right, thank you, everyone, for coming. First order of business is the minutes, approval or correction of last week's minutes. Approval or correction. Do we have any comments? If not, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from February, 24th?
We have a motion to accept.
Second motion.
Got a second from Mr. Messina. Any comments, questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Comments from the public. We have two visitors with us tonight. Mr. Freeze, do you have anything for us?
No, nothing.
Appreciate you coming. And I believe we have Mr. Steve Craigbaum. Would you like to say anything to us tonight, sir?
Yes, sir. Just a couple of comments.
Sure.
We heard about this. I'm with the Michigan City Charter Boat Association,
Right.
and we did have a meeting Saturday. What little members we have left. We actually have way more associate members now than we do. I think we have 9 captains left in the harbor, but we have a bunch of associates. So anyway, we hashed it around about the fireboat thing that I don't know who's on that committee from you guys, but we talked about it, and being a retired fireman, I knew what was coming down the hoop there. It was like, we're talking 200 to 225,000, I believe. And first, let me say, I in no way, ifs, ands, and buts, say that having a fireboat we need a fireboat. There's no doubt about it. Michigan City's needed a fireboat for a long, long time, and I think it would be a great thing. What we're upset with, or not upset, just I guess we're against, is where the money's going to come from. That money was earmarked for years and years and years as a harbor maintenance fund, and then last year the fire department, along with the Port Authority and the City Council, changed it to a maintenance and safety fund, which kind of opened it up for, I think the fire department thinks it's their open checkbook now. And they are going to go after the safety end of it. And I think you guys know what things cost around here. What I'm worried about is, as a boater and through the Charter Boat Association, if with the high water we have something with the seawall out here and the seawall collapses. I mean, you guys know what you spent on 2 glorified sidewalks down here on the 300 dock and the 200 dock. You got $500,000 tied up. Now, if we lose a seawall or a seawall starts eroding away, we've got 2.2 or 2.3 million, and if they keep whittling on that, we're going to have nothing in there. And if we do have a catastrophe around here, we won't have any money to maintain the harbors or the seawalls. That's what we're worried about. We think that money should have been earmarked and never been to the safety fund. And although the cameras was a good idea, although it never paid out, I don't think it ever really worked as far as a safety issue. But you guys spent $200,000, and when you voted on that, I understand that you thought a safety issue and thought it was a good idea, but the only one that spoke against it was Sam. And Sam's exact words, and very wisely, were, I think you're going to open up a can of worms. And here's the can. So now that this is open to maintenance and safety, I think it's carte blanche for anybody to come in there that wants that money. And it has to be okayed by you guys and the city council. I understand that. So we're just voicing our 2 cents that, just think about the future. A fireboat's a great thing to do. And maybe there's other ways around just writing a check out of that fund for the fire department. Maybe you could tell them, okay, go get a grant, which, for all of your information, the Michigan City Fire Department in the last 20-some years has had 2 grants for a new fireboat, and both grants were approved. They had the money. Jimmy knows all about this. They had the money and turned it down. So that's neither here nor there. That was years ago. And we have a whole new upper echelon and all young guys and good guys. They're all great guys in there, but I just think I would just like to see that money come from someplace else, or at the very worst, matching funds. Let them come up with a couple $100,000 and you guys match it or something. Let them do a little work out of the deal instead of just writing a check. So that's my whole 2 cents. If anybody's got a question or...
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Craigbaum? Sam, go ahead.
Steve, as I recall, the work that I did back those years ago on the fire prevention plan and the first responder plan, and we brought a fireboat in we ran it through its test and everything. It's quite a remarkable boat, by the way. But the information I recall, talking with whoever was the fire chief and the authorities at the fire department, their opinion was that yes, we need a fireboat, but no, the port authority doesn't need a fireboat. The fire department needs a fireboat, and the port authority with a fireboat would end up getting in the way because that's not their trade, that's not their expertise. And I've always appreciated that kind of guidance, especially from the fire marshal at that time. Is you guys be first responders, and what that means is you get the word out to us, you alert us, you get us here, you make sure that you don't get in the way once we get here.
Saturday meeting.
So anyhow, I agree that it would be, I think Michigan City ought to have a fireboat, but it ought to belong to the fire department.
I know the fire department and the harbor master have gotten ready to get together. I'm not sure if they've had it yet. They were trying to set something up, and so they've been in touch with the best way to handle fire in the marina, which we do. We update that every year, and we're in the midst of doing that now. Tim probably has some comments a little later in that on his report, but I personally not aware of almost everything you talked about. The idea, it's good to look into. Nothing wrong with looking into taking into that. I'm not aware of any of the funding issues from years ago or anything like that. I know there's nothing in our plans, our immediate plans to have to put together outlays for that right now. Sure, I think it's a good comment. Definitely something we all hear, and all I can say is we'll take a look at it. You have good experience with a good deal of the board members, and I'm sure that you'll be able to express yourself more clearly on that.
Oh, sure. And just this is not the homework. This is just our association and our group. And
no, I understand.
Once again, like Sam said, we're definitely in need of one, but I sure hate to penalize ourselves and draining the harbor maintenance fund in turn for trying to get fireboats. So.
I agree. Danny?
Maybe a question for Mr. Craig Baum for the boards. I think it can be directed to you, both to the east and the west of us. Do they have fire boats in their marinas?
New Buffalo does not. Portage does. And Portage wrote a grant for theirs, and I think they've had theirs about 4 or 5 years now. And we actually hire that and come down here every year. We hire that boat through the Tourism Bureau, and they pay them to come here for the boat race. And they have a very nice fireboat. And as a matter of fact, it was made by Moose Boat Works up in the UP. And it was they wrote a grant, and the grant was for $300,000. And that fireboat, fully intact, here, delivered, ready to go, cost them $301,000. So it cost them $1,000 bill.
That's awesome.
So that's Portage, but New Buffalo has nothing, and St. Joe has nothing.
Okay, good shit. Who owns? Do we know who owns the one?
Portage.
The marina itself.
No, Portage Fire.
Portage Fire Department.
Correct. And they keep it in Portage Marina. Okay. But the other bad side of that is their response time from the Portage Fire Departments to Portage Marina is 20 to 25 minutes. So it's not much of a rescue boat. But they do man it on especially weekends like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. They man it then. But the rest of the time it is not manned. Okay. So.
All right. Any other comments?
Maybe just another question. Who can be qualified to operate a fireboat?
Portage didn't have any captains at all. I mean, they were, matter of fact, they got in a pickle 2 years ago, Tim? Or last
I think so.
Last year. Well, they hit a bunch of boats on the 700 dock. They hit 3 boats, and they had no captain on board, and here they are. And it was a bad situation. The wind they were towing a boat in, the wind was howling, and they just kind of lost it, and it came up against our boats, and one guy had a swim platform broke off, and nothing major, just all minor damage. But it should be a certified captain to operate it, and not just a fireman. So, and the Michigan City Fire Department does have captains. They have 3, possibly 4 captains on the job. So,
Okay. Anyone else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next on the agenda, Mr. Frame, the operations report.
All right, the 200 dock project is essentially finished, or will be tomorrow. Thursday, Edgewater Engineering and Larson Danielson and myself are going to do a final walkthrough and look for a punch list, but that project is essentially finished. The 800 dock project, they're still waiting for the big panels for the outer half of the 800 dock. Those are expected to be shipped out tomorrow, so we may see them towards the end of the week. In the meantime, they're making progress on our annual electrical connection checkup that we do every year, where they go through and check all the breakers and the connections and the receptacles and all of that. So that's in progress.
No reports yet? Don't want to find it? Okay.
And we're currently removing the de-icers and starting to put the ladders back in. You'll notice there were 2 boats sitting out here on the 300 dock. We put them to the 300 dock here to begin with, since there's no power over on the 7 and 8 currently while they're working on that. So as soon as I get the clearance from MB Electric, they can go back to the 700 dock. And then, somewhat related to what Steve was just talking about, I did meet with the fire department last week, and we went over the current plan for Washington Park if there were an accident, and Trail Creek. Overall, they're satisfied with the current plan. They inspect us every year, so as things come up, they tend to bring that up. They would like to investigate a fireboat. Steve has more information than I have from the fire department at this point, but I believe they're planning on being at our next meeting to make a presentation. They didn't have enough information yet for tonight, but they just wanted you all to know that they are looking into the possibility of a fireboat. And that's all I have for now, unless anybody has any questions.
Do you have anything new on the water?
It's lower a little bit. It's a little bit down. But as far as predictions and stuff, that's all the same.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything for the harbor master? Moving on, Ms. Halicki.
Since our last meeting, which is only last Monday, we've rented 1 30-foot slip, 2 35s, and rented the last inside rack at Trail Creek. And we're still getting calls every day. Getting ready for spring around here.
That's good. Still getting high water calls?
Not so much today. It wasn't so bad.
Good. Anything from Ms. Halicki?
How, jet skis, are we pretty much full on those from previous years? Do you have a number of what we have as far as jet ski rentals?
Like 70 or did?
Yeah, I was going to say there's like 72 up here
Is it
and
that
9
high?
at Trail Creek.
Interesting.
And you could probably use another 20. Not that we have room for another
Yeah,
20.
not the room one, but yeah, they're popular.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Mr. Garrett, budget, financial oversight, and the bills.
There are only 5 items on today's docket, which was all of about a week. I'm not going to go through them. If anybody has any questions, though, I'd be more than happy to answer any. Otherwise, I make a motion that we pay our bills as presented.
That's the $2,403.91.
Yep.
Gotcha. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any comments on this? Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye of accepting the bills as written.
Aye.
I didn't hear everybody.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. All in favor were
No.
all of us are opposed. Motion passed. Thank you. Anything else?
No, nothing. Sorry.
That was you now. Mr. Haynes is not here tonight. Did anyone have any comments or questions on claims or insurance? or know anything about them. Moving on, operations, myself, I don't have anything in addition to anything we talked about last week. Tim talked about the fire department. We talked about high water. That's all that I have. Anybody have any questions for me? Mr. Messina, what kind of parties we've got going?
Still a little bit early. I haven't really communicated with a lot of the boaters. Of course, there's nobody in or down here right now, so I have nothing at this time to report.
Okay. Understand the fishing's pretty good out there.
I understand that.
I noticed today that there were a lot of people up around Trail Creek, but I didn't see any cars or anybody out in the pier today. Anybody. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So evidently, Steve, got any comments on that? Why didn't anybody out in the pier?
The water out on the pier is 33 degrees. The water up here by the Franklin Creek Bridge is 37 or 38.
Okay.
So all the fish are up the creek.
All right. Thank you. From a fisherman to a non-fisherman. Appreciate it. Anything for Mr. Messina? Any comments or questions?
Yes, please. We discussed the Hobie Cat program last meeting. Have you had a chance to get into that or hear anything about what they're going to do, what they need from us?
I have not. I know I said I would check on it and get a report, and I was thinking I'd talk to the person I was going to talk to, but have not. But if you want to keep it on the open item list,
could you put that on the open item?
That'll keep me updated too.
We'll leave fire improvements on there also.
I got the impression from last year's activity that this was about to become a big event.
Well, they would like it to, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't, but I will have a report.
Okay. Going along with that, I keep forgetting to ask, but I believe that the ramp is gone.
That's correct.
That's right. And I presume that whoever's responsible for making a new one probably is us.
That's correct.
You're working on it.
That's correct.
Thank you. It's been piled up with sand in that area, and while I thought it was really washed away, and I thought I heard somebody say that, I've never really asked to make sure. I appreciate that. And I saw that the bulldozers were out there today pushing stuff around. Looks like they're building or trying to build up another berm or so in that front area. All right. Anything else for Mr. Messina? All right. Mr. Manor, Master Planning, Special Projects, Park Liaison.
I have no report to this evening.
Anything for Bruce? For many of us? All right. Mrs. Mir is not here for advertising, public relations. Anyone have any comments or questions concerning that? All our advertising in for the year that we normally do?
Most of it, there's just a
Okay,
few
so-
little things that haven't came due yet.
All right. Mr. Zach Noon, the attorney's report.
I do have a couple of unpaid debts that I'm going to follow up with staff concerning. One of them is a little under $500. The other one is a little over $200. So I'll talk to staff and see if it's worth pursuing in a small claims action with that. But that's all I have.
That's good. I mean, it's good that we don't have a lot of legal stuff.
Right.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything for our attorney? Okay. Any new business to come before the board? Any new business? Any old business other than what we've talked about? Any old business come before the board? Guests? Anybody else? Steve, anything else?
Nope.
All right, we appreciate both of you coming tonight. Very short meeting tonight. All right. Not hearing any comments to continue. Take a motion for adjournment.
I'll move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
We have a motion accepted. We are adjourned. Next meeting is March 16th, 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you, everyone.